be improved upon. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
I call the Honourable Minister Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I thank all members for their contribution on this bill. I'm sure that will be quite an enjoyable select committee process for those who are involved, because this is a part of Canterbury and indeed Christchurch that has a very rich history. I want to just acknowledge that the very first chairman of the Trust after the gift in 1914 was John Deans too. He was the son of John Deans, who was the son of John Deans, the brother of William Deans. William Deans died very shortly after their arrival here in Canterbury, and John Deans farmed that property himself for quite some time. And then, of course, when he went back to Scotland, he married Jane Deans. Jane McElwraith was her name. He had been betrothed to her for some, I think, 12 years, and finally went back to marry her. And whilst coming back to New Zealand, was horseback riding on the Isthmus of Panama, got caught in the rain, took a cold, and never really recovered from that. And so John Deans too really didn't get to know his father as well as he might have. But he of course then had a family, a very large family, and the house that, the property that's being amalgamated into the trust today became the home of, I think, John Deans III, who was also the first chairman of the trust that I spoke of before. In my time, Sarah, I've known Patrick Deans, who was a trustee, Hugh Deans, Richard Deans, Hugh's son, whose name escapes me just at the present time. He has been a great contributor. And of course, the chairman today is Charles Deans. In between time, Richard Harrington, who was the mayor of Riccarton, was chairman of the trust for a very long time. So it's had very good stewardship from people who are quite passionate about it. Dennis mentioned one of the trustees before who was equally passionate about the place. Mr. Speaker, the connection to Homebush was mentioned by Ruth Dyson, and that of course is also a home that has been lost due to the earthquakes, so that brings its own sadness. And some of the barns that went with the farm on the property of Christchurch Boys High School have also been lost after so many years. So it's important that that house does get back on its feet, does get recovered. And can I just also mention that, you know, in the country like New Zealand, where we have so many or so fewer degrees of separation, for the time that I was on the trust secretary was Roger Cave. Roger Cave is the brother-in-law of Prime Minister John Key. So a lot of sort of connections in this house, not only to local members but others as well. In the front of the property, away from the bush, there is quite a splendid stand of oak trees, and the seeds for those oak trees were provided to the Deans family, to Jane Deans and her son, by Governor George Grey, and they are known as the George Grey Oaks. They stand there very proudly. But I am pleased that so many people have recognised the value of the bush itself, the remnant stand of Kahakatea, the site known as the member for Titaitonga pointed out, Pahuta Ringamutu. I believe that's the place of the severed ear. I've asked Rick Toe actually a number of times exactly what the story was behind that, and he's sort of given a bit of a gruff laugh and never really let on about what it was about. I suspect he was trying to make up something that was pretty fantastic. But at the time we launched the management plan for this bush, Rick Toe did speak on behalf of Ngāi Tahu, and he spoke, as he always does, most eloquently about the value of a particular project that he's ever involved in. And he said of this place that he was happy that Ngāi Tahu could always have a communication with the trustees, but did not need to be on the trust, because the original lease to the Deans brothers was a genuine one. It was for some 6 miles in a radius from the site that is roughly where the house is now. And he made the comment that when the settling company, the Canterbury Company, came to New Zealand in 1850, both the Maori and the Deans got done. So, sir, I'm sure that many of the explanations for these stories will come out during the committee stages, the second reading and the third reading, and I look forward to all those processes. Thank you to all the members who have done so much work on this bill, and I must say, sir, I'm proud to bring it. Other people have done the work behind this, and they should be congratulated for that, including the Legal Services team from the Christchurch City Council. Thank you.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. As many of that opinion will please say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Riccarton Bush Amendment Bill, first reading.
The question is that the Riccarton Bush Amendment Bill be considered by the Local Government and Environment Committee. Those of that opinion will please say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Honourable members, I therefore call on members' order of the day number 1.